Hey everybody, it's Paul from Cash Crunch Games and I hope all is well with you. So today we're going to be talking about financial literacy or personal finance and money habits, really based around kids. There's a lot of issues in terms of debt in the world, credit card debt, loan debt, car debt, all those kind of debts. So I want to bring from the Money Mammals and Zoo, and he's written a fantastic book called The Art of the Allowance, which is a phenomenal book. And we're just really going to chew the fat about financial literacy in kids. Hey, John, now we're on.
How's it going, Paul?
Good, good. Finally, we're there. Yeah, so it's good. It's good to finally get you pinned down and actually have a conversation. So,
Yeah.
obviously, we actually chatted at FinCon, which is where money and media meet. This major conference where 2,000 people actually turn up to talk about money, in all different formats. Obviously, and now we've got our own little niche with the financial literacy area as well. So that's great stuff. So let's just jump straight into this. So like most entrepreneurs, we actually end up creating things for a need. Where did it come to you when? Hey Wilson, where did it come to you when you decided to start writing about your books and everything else? What was the point that you decided to do that?
Yeah, I'll do my shout out to Pete and Stacy. I saw them too. Totally new to Facebook Live, so this could be a complete disaster on my end. But Paul got us up and running, so that's good. The kids really were our inspiration. So my wife and I came up with the idea originally for the Money Mammals. Just out of a need to want to raise them to be interested in money and get smart about money. And my natural inclination in that regard was kind of, let's make it fun for them. And when we looked into it, we saw two things. One, there wasn't really anything out there that we were aware of. And we also realized that they could learn early, and not only that they could, but they should, because the messages out there were already out there to spend. So we wanted to have, just to add a little mindfulness to it, so made it spend smart, and then to think about sharing or charitable giving and saving. And that was kind of really what got the Money Mammals going for us.
No, I think it's phenomenal, and I just read The Art of Allowance over the weekend, and I couldn't put it down. It was great, just in bite-sized chunks, and it made a lot of sense, which is great. It's like me and you having a conversation, and I think that is key when you're reading. But one of the things that totally struck me, and I absolutely love this, remember that I think that money skills is one of the most underrated and overlooked life skills there are. Yeah. So you came up with the idea of empowerment and visualization, and you say to a kid, yeah, here's your money, off you go, spend how you like. Some parents go, whoa, hang on a second. I remember as a kid, when I was working in a restaurant, I actually saved like £1,000, and there was this video recorder at the time. This was before internet and everything else. A video recorder is about £800, and I wanted to buy that, and my mom was going, you are not buying that money. You're not buying that camera, and then I'm reading your book
video recorder.
Yes, exactly. So then now you're almost like, well, no, parents, let them spend what they want. And I'm like, oh, that would have been brilliant in our household. So why do you say that, we should empower the kids to make their own spending decisions?
Well, we do. The key thing, though, is having that allowance that is, there's a cap to the allowance. So obviously we're not giving them the huge amounts of money, particularly in the beginning. But the reason is that if kids are going to learn to get smart about money, they actually have to have money in their hands. And the easiest way to do that is with an allowance, a weekly allowance to start. And I think the big hesitation with a lot of parents with allowance is that the term itself is a little weighty. They think, allowance, it's just a giveaway. And it's not a giveaway if you're purposeful with it. In other words, if you have a reason behind why you're giving it to your kids. And the reason that I think that you want to use it is that you're teaching your kids, and you want to be explicit to them about this, you're teaching them to get money smart. And you certainly will advise them. You don't let them go necessarily hog wild. But there's only, when in the beginning, say like, a 5 or 6 year old, they're only going to get $5 or $6 a week. They can't really go that hog wild. I mean, their example of hog wild would be a ice cream. So, so,
That
so
is true.
there is some control over it. But most importantly, you want them. They need for them to become money smart, money empowered. They need actual money in their own hands, and that's what an allowance helps to do. Yeah.
So one of the things, like you said, that word is contentious of, an allowance, and some people say yes, you should have allowance. I know, no, I'm gonna hit it, and then I'm gonna go round, so we don't have to go there. But then there's another term that says, like you say with allowances, should and there shouldn't, and we can have a chat with this another day. And then some kids will say, pay yourself first. And, when I first heard that, I thought, what the hell are they on about? Who pays me? Who pays me? Do I find money down the back of the sofa? And then eventually I decided to come up with save first, spend later.
Yeah.
So for me, if I was looking as a kid and you say, yes, pay yourself first, young man, where's the money coming from? So, it's the same thing with that word allowance, and maybe it's chore association or, it's chore association payment. So cap. We're going to cap you today, or something along those lines. But the other thing I thought was very, very interesting was the fact that you use visualization. And I love that, especially when you said about your savings jars. I mean, I know we have like our spend jar, our savings jar, our gifting or whatever jar. But you actually wanted to bring pictures into that with visualization. I mean, how have you found that to be a successful strategy for your kids and for other people who've used your product?
Yeah, well, it's a time-honored strategy. The idea that if you want to achieve a goal, you use visualization. What I love about the process of money saving, so there are kind of three core money smart skills. We have distinguishing between needs and wants, making smart money choices, and then the third is saving for goals. And it's the thing that the kids are going to want to do right off the bat, because they're going to find something that they want immediately, almost in almost all cases. And it's going to be more than they're going to have money for. So you're going to get the chance to teach them delayed gratification by saving, and by pasting a picture on the jar, then you have a reminder every allowance that, hey, you know what? You don't necessarily want to spend that money. That's a good idea. Maybe save that. You can get to your goal faster. And the other thing you want to, that's a good idea is you set up a SMART goal, which is the acronym is SMART, and that is that you want something that is specific. So that's the picture that you put onto the jar. You want something that's measurable. How long is it going to take? Something attainable. So like for a younger kid, you're not going to be going after $800 video recorder. It's going to be something small like a scooter, right? Relevant. Right. It's naturally going to be relevant because they're going to say, I want that. And then time-based, something that's going to only take them, for a younger kid, say 5 years old, something that's going to take them, say 3 to 6 or 8 weeks. And that's really, it's good because then they learn about delayed gratification. They learn about the power of saving for a goal. And then they get the goal within a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And who would have thought you would have brought SMART objectives, which is like a high school, college concept, right in talking with kids. So that's brilliant. I love that.
Right.
So,
I'm not advocating that you tell the 5-year-old anything about the SMART. You just keep that in your head.
Brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
So one of the things that, with Cash Crunch is, and we focus on teaching kids the value of money and making smarter decisions with your money. So if you know how much a dollar is worth, like if you get your allowance or your cap, and you get $2 a week, and once it's gone, it's gone. So they have to learn to make smarter decisions. Right. How much do you think that is of value to a kid when you're trying to teach them early on about money habits?
Well, I mean, scarcity is reality, right? So it is really important that they understand that there's only a certain amount of money that they're going to have. They have to making choices is really the key element, because the thing that's important here for the kids is that whether they are actively making the choice or not, they're making a choice whenever they get money. So whether they get their the money from an allowance or they get the money from a gift, if they're going to spend that money, they're making that choice. So you want them to just be mindful at all times that they're making choices with money, whatever they do. So it's really, this is kind of my argument for why parents should start, because they're going to get some kind of cash flow, right? Whether it's through gifts or whether it's through allowance or whether it's both, they're going to be making choices. So why not make those choices mindful choices? And why not make those choices something that then you can use to instill values that you think are important? Like, for example, the share jar, the charitable giving jar, or whatever it might be.
So going back to that one question about empowerment, has there been times when your daughter wanted to buy something and you're shaking your head going, no, but then as a parent you go, no, I've got to follow and you got to support them and let them buy it?
Yeah. Yeah, all the time, all the time. And I am pretty true to my word. I mean, we'd have to get them on. They may not disagree. They may disagree with that from time to time. But I'll give you an example. We were on vacation recently, and our kids, they both kids have different personalities. One's more of a saver, one's more of a spender. Just like my wife, I'm more the spender. She's more the saver. And we were in a gift shop, which is my least favorite place in the world to be in any place. But in any case, we're in the gift shop, and the one of my girls who's more the saver was kind of really ruminating about a kind of $10 mug that she wanted to get. And I said, you can get that, but you're probably not going to use it much. And she decided against it. And then the other one was looking at like a $30 sweater. And said, you can get that, but you're already down to about $40 in your spend bucket. In this case, she's got a digital allowance now, and she ignored my advice and went ahead and and got it. I will say it's a good-looking sweater, and she has worn it.
She will wear it.
Around me, she'll definitely wear it. So, but I do, it is important though that you let them make their choices and dig their holes, especially when the stakes are pretty much like these are seriously low stakes, the mistakes.
Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, if you'd rather them, while they're living under your roof, make the mistakes now, smaller mistakes, than actually when they leave the home, they get in the credit card debt, all that stuff, and they end up losing the house for foreclosure and living beyond their means. I mean, it really, in the grand scheme of things, the battle with your kid is worth it now, and letting them spend and learning the mistakes, even if they waste money on a sweater or whatever, to do it now than in later on.
Yeah. Well, yes, and our pal Bill Dwight from BAMZoo had a really good point when I interviewed him on my podcast, because his kids are a little bit older, so he's had more experience, and he said, these conversations you're going to have with them, even though they may be rolling their eyes and you think they're not paying attention, said they are paying attention. They are hearing your messages, and particularly as long as your messages aren't contrary to what you're doing yourself, those messages will get through. So I think we just have to, as parents, keep fighting the good fight.
That's it. So just wrapping things up here, give us 3 tips. If you were a parent right now, which you are, but like for new parents coming in or parents who want to make up time with their kid, what 3 tips could you give them that would get them on the way to getting their kid onto financial independence or learning the value of money?
Yeah. Well, for a younger kid, I think starting a simple allowance, $5 a week for a 5-year-old, $6 a week for a 6-year-old, really important. Set up the 3 jars: share, save, spend smart. For an older kid, you can add an invest jar if you want to get into that. That's perfectly fine, right? So start those, and then as soon as possible, get them saving for a goal. And the reason that makes them, some people will say, oh, then they're just spending their money. It's like, it's money that they're using to practice and learn with, and saving for a goal, something they want, is teaching them delayed gratification, and it's a lot more effective than trying to teach them about saving for a rainy day, which is not a bad lesson, but it's not a lesson that a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old, 7-year-old is really going to heed. Their brain is just not developed enough for that to make any real impact. So those are the 3 ways to get started. Start with an allowance, set up your 3 jars, get that goal saving going, and you'll be well on your way, because you know what happens with that? You open up a lifelong conversation with them about money, break down those taboos, and it's going to ebb and flow in terms of being good and bad, but you'll be on your way.
Well, that's it, because that's crazy. We're expected to, we use money every single day, so therefore we're expected to be an expert, but yet we're not allowed to talk about money because of
Right.
jealousy or what, you know, whatever you're
Yes.
hiding and all those kind of
Yeah.
things. So just last thing then. So obviously we'll put it in the comments section for anything, but where can we find you then, John?
Yeah.
What, are you
Easiest
on
place.
Twitter or were you on?
Yeah, I'm at Twitter, but you can get everything if you go to theartofallowance.com. You can find all the social handles and everything there. That's probably the easiest place to start. So theartofallowance.com.
All right, that's perfect. Well, thanks a
Yeah.
lot, John, for coming on and finally for us to finally figure this out.
We made it happen. Paul, I appreciate you making this happen, and thanks to your wife for helping make sure that we actually connected.
Well, she's my guardian. She's my guardian. Yeah, I don't do anything
Yes.
without it. You know, when you talk about empowerment, she empowers me and then gives me the look to say, okay, yes, you can have that, but not really. But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes.
have
Same
a good
here.
one.
Okay.
And we'll catch you again soon. I look forward to another chat with you soon. Have
Thanks,
a good
Paul.
one, John. Take
Okay,
care.
you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.